Ramada room welcomes all. Thanks for stopping by, answering the call. Ups and downs are normal for some of us. Many days I beg to get off this life bus. Neon lights flicker, a shadow on the wall. Dreams on the ceiling, we run and then we fall. Sharing stories over paper cups. Wheels keep turning but never enough. Life's a ride on a rickety old track, holding on tight, never looking back. In the rubber Ramada room we confide, laugh, cry, love in this crazy ride.
Hello. Let me find my microphone. See, it's sitting over there on the other side of my desk. Welcome in to the Rubber Ramada room. I am Sheila, your host. And tonight we're going to go over Megan Boswell, since that trial prep, prep for that trial that's coming up. So first of all, I'd like to start off with a missing child, as I hope to do every night. Well, not that we want missing children, but I'm just saying that there are missing children out there, and I want to spotlight them each and every night in the beginning of my stream. So thank you. Tonight, we're going to look at Martha Quintero. She's been missing since January 9th, 2025, out of Houston, Texas. She's 16 years old. She was last seen on January 9th, 2025. For information on anything, any leads, any tips, Houston Police Department, Texas, 713-884-3131. Excuse me. So that's our missing child for tonight. So we're going to start off. Beautiful, beautiful baby. And a horrible, horrible mother. So we're going to start off the stream with Megan Boswell and beautiful baby Evelyn. See, and I closed the tab. See, this is all learning. So we'll go back up here. We're going to start off with the video of where she actually went missing. This is the press conference after she was first reported missing.
Jeff Cassidy, Sheriff of Sullivan County. I want to start out by saying that we have been looking for baby Evelyn since last Tuesday. We've been working 24/7 nonstop. As you all know, she was first reported missing last week, and we're still searching for her and working to determine exactly.
The reason I'm going back, and we're going to actually back up and play, we're going to play this from the beginning, is because there's a lot of interesting information here that well, hello, Muffin. Hello, Muffin. But what I wanted to say is that yes, her many, many lies. And to start off, you're finishing your Call of Duty match. It's okay. It's okay. And her many lies. So we're going to start off. We're going to listen to this because there's so many things in here. And he has a lot of great information that I have a feeling is going to come up in trial.
Exactly when she disappeared. We have followed up on over 570 tips, along with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and Federal Bureau of Investigation. We've been working as a team on this ever since baby Evelyn's went missing. At this point, most of you are aware that we've received a number of conflicting, inaccurate statements from the mother, Megan Boswell, Evelyn's mother. During the investigation, we determined that some of the statements Megan Boswell provided to us were false. Many of the false statements that Megan made delayed our investigations and also impeded our investigations on trying to find Evelyn. As a result, she has been charged with false reporting. Because the investigation remains active and ongoing, we can only release specific answers to this investigation. Of course, everybody knows that a lot of the stuff that we've received, with it being conflicting and inaccurate, and a lot of the information you all are receiving are from the mother, Megan. A lot of the stuff.
Okay, so then that's going to be our first problem, is because we're receiving information from the mother, Megan, And it's already been stated that she's already been in trouble for lying. So here we go.
Stuff that you're seeing out on social media, and a lot of the stuff that has been relayed to you hadn't come from our office. So we want to release the most accurate information to you all, and we want to be promptly in doing so. So a lot of the stuff that you all are getting is from the mother, and you know, you take with it what you want, but she has been inaccurate, conflicting statements all through this investigation. If you have any more information or need information about these specific charges and about maybe the future of this case, I would like to refer that to our District Attorney General, Barry Staubus, or District Attorney General office, okay? Also, if you have any questions relating to the Amber Alert process, of course, I'd like to refer you to our Public Information Officer for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Leslie Earhart. However, please know that we remain committed and continue to do everything possible to find out what happened to Evelyn. And as always, as soon as relevant information and accurate information, I want to really reiterate that as it comes to us, we will get that out as soon as possible. Okay. Anyone with relevant information concerning Evelyn's whereabouts are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Okay. I'm just going to take a few questions because everything we have released to you, you know, that have been proved to be relevant or misinformation. So there's not really much that we can answer because, like I say, this is an active, ongoing investigation, and we don't want to have conflicting stories, and social media has really impeded this investigation. So we really want to get just accurate information out to you all. Okay, so I'll take a few questions, and my public info.
Okay, the questions are important. The questions are important because he answers a few of them.
Information Officer Captain Seabolt will take us if you have anything relating to the missing vehicle and the bolo that we put on the BMW and the charges on the grandmother and Mr. McLeod. Okay.
Sheriff, yesterday Megan Boswell told us that she couldn't take a polygraph because she was pregnant.
Right.
Can you kind of touch on the fact that you guys maybe have not administered one of those to her, or has she received a CDSA or anything like that?
She was never asked to meet us for any polygraph. We don't.
The question was, in case you didn't hear it, she couldn't take a polygraph because she's pregnant. No. I call BS.
Don't actually have a polygraph examiner. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation does the polygraphing. We never set up any type of interview for her. And the pregnant statements, I'll have to leave that to her. That's information she released to you. Of course, it being medical, there's HIPAA violations that we have to look into, and I can't release that information at this time.
Sheriff, do you still believe Evelyn Boswell is alive, and are you any closer to finding where she is?
I hope and pray. My staff hopes and pray, and everybody working on this case hope and pray she's alive, and we're going to continue to work just like she is alive.
Sheriff, as more time elapses, is this case becoming more complicated?
Well, it was complicated from the beginning. Good question, but like
this was a good question. Wanted to know if the time lapse has it made it a complicated case, because she was 15 months old. She went missing. Well, she was supposedly last seen on December 26, 2019. Amber Alert didn't go out until February 19th of 2020. But it was March 2020 when they actually found her. I'm not sure what date in March, though, but we may find out.
Like I say, we were just, it was just reported last Tuesday. Last known sighting verified was 1st of December. So we were already behind the 8 ball.
See, he's saying 1st of December. I'm not sure, because then later on you'll hear that they talked to the babysitter. And I think the babysitter was the one that gave him the date of the 26th. So I'm not sure about that.
67, 68 days before she was even reported missing. So a lot of the tips that we've followed up on, you know, they hadn't been really relevant to or pertinent to our investigation.
Sheriff, we're hearing that authorities in Wilkes County are searching in a pond in connection with this. Speaking of those social media rumors, is this true, and how can we combat things?
I'm glad you brought that up, Ansley. I meant to tell you all that is just information we just received, and that is confirmed. They are looking in an area in Wilkes County, North Carolina. It wasn't asked from anybody that I know of from our agency or Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, but they are actively looking at a area in Wilkes County, North Carolina.
And this is in connection with Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the reward money still at 56,000?
No, it's up to 59,850.
How frustrating is it for you if rumors on social media have circulated? We've heard reports possibly in Virginia Beach, now North Carolina. I mean, do you have any idea where these leads are coming from, and kind of how are you working to combat those that are false?
Well, that's one thing I want to relay to the public. You know, law enforcement.
He's just going to talk about false leads right here. And then they're going to talk about the BOLO.
Say speculation, people posting on social media, assumptions. We can't go on assumptions. We got to have fact. And with fact, we have to have probable cause before we can execute search warrants, make arrests.
Go kicking in doors, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Following up on that, how should the community help? We've had so many questions. What can we do?
The community has been outstanding, the outpouring support of the support from the community. But you gotta think of our timeline of 2 months, over 2 months of her missing. We would love to have a grid search area and form search teams to assist us in locating Evelyn, but 413 square miles in our county, and then there was a possibility of Mendota, some possibilities of North Carolina. You can imagine the letter has really been outpouring, and we appreciate the prayers that.
Sheriff, I know that
One more question.
Evolve said that her story has changed. The mother's story has changed multiple times since you guys initially started talking to her.
Yes, sir.
Since she's been arrested, has her story changed yet again, or kind of what has been?
Here we go.
Every time we talk to her, her story changes. I'm serious when I say that. Every single time.
Sheriff, you said the last verified sighting was the 1st of December. A few moments ago, we previously heard it was December 26th, December 10th or 11th.
10th or 11th is what I've been going on simply because it was verified by somebody that's not lied to us.
Is that the babysitter?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So you talked to him or her?
We've interviewed everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so there we go. They talked to the babysitter. So that was why that was verified. So now we're going to go on to, we're going to share this tab instead. And this is the actual news where it came out. I believe this was information about the search warrant. And this is WJHL News.
Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says it assisted the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office in executing a search warrant at a mobile home park on Buffalo Road in Blountville. A Sheriff's Office spokesperson told us the search was a planned search in relation to the Evelyn Boswell case. News Channel 11's Kaylin Cluck was at the scene and spoke with a person at the trailer that was searched. She joins us live with details.
Investigators from both the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and the TBI were at Lakeshore RV Park today searching a trailer. Now, after that investigation wrapped up, I was able to speak with a person living inside that trailer and ask exactly what happened.
Keep in mind, I think this was 4 years ago. Let's see. Yeah, 4 years ago. So this has been a little bit.
Zachary Warfield says he's lived at the trailer off Buffalo Road in Blountville for only a couple months, but he told us who may have lived there previously.
I think the mother and the daughter.
Megan and Evelyn?
Yeah.
Warfield says he had no relation to the Boswells, but amid the investigation into Evelyn's disappearance, he says authorities have visited the trailer before.
That's the first time they had an investigation team, but there were a couple of detectives that have came here before and asked a couple of questions.
Warfield says investigators searched through the trailer and dug under and around it. He says investigators found what he described as a brown bag beneath the trailer.
They were digging around back there because they saw some soft ground, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, is that where they found the item?
No, they found the item under the trailer.
Can you just, do you know where that is?
Yeah.
I would not want to live there knowing. I don't know how they dug. Yeah, and they didn't check the shed. I don't know.
Right around here. Right under there.
Okay. And can you just describe one more time what you saw them take out of there?
It was a brown bag. I don't know whether it was paper or plastic, but it was a brown bag about that big.
Footage from when investigators were leaving the scene does show one official carrying out a brown bag. Sullivan County Sheriff's Office Captain Andy Siebolt says they aren't releasing any details regarding follow-up activities to the investigation. He also says they, along with the TBI and FBI, continue to search for Evelyn Boswell.
Muffin, they didn't check enough. So let's see. All right, so then she got arrested.
Time is a funny thing. Sometimes we wish we could pause it or reverse it.
I don't know how to get through ads yet, so you're going to have to bear with me. Little things that I have to learn yet. I did have this up in prep, but it refreshed, so. Okay.
Court. Megan Boswell reported her 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn, missing in March of 2020.
Is that beautiful baby?
The child's remains were later found on family property. Boswell appeared at a motions hearing earlier today. She is set to appear in court once again in June.
It's hard. So that's been a little bit. So let's go over here. Okay. Let's see. And this is going to be also from WJHL. This was also 4 years ago. This is an interview with a lawyer after she was such a cutie pie, wasn't she? Evelyn was a beauty. She was a beauty baby. I think of the Gerber baby when I see her. But so this is going to be the news where the attorney talks about he had went in there and actually spoke with his client. This was her first attorney. Her first attorney.
2.5-week-long Amber Alert for 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell came to a tragic end. This is News Channel 11 at 11. I'm Kelly Grossfield. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department says that remains found on property owned by Megan Boswell's family are believed to be those of Evelyn Boswell. Ansley has been covering the case since the beginning. Tell us what you've learned in the last 24 hours.
Kelly, I arrived to the property in the 500 block of Muddy Creek Road in Blountville around 9:30 last night. There were dozens of marked and unmarked law enforcement vehicles, as well as a crew from the ETSU Forensic Center and the Sullivan County Coroner. Around 10 p.m., authorities said that new information brought forth led them to that property. In a press conference last night, the TBI, the Sullivan County Sheriff, and District Attorney General Barry Staubus said that the investigation into what happened to Evelyn Boswell is active and ongoing. People then set up a memorial on that property where the remains were found. Today, we reached out to those who are connected to the case and closest to Evelyn. I spoke with Megan Boswell's lawyer, Brad Sproles, who says he's the one who told Megan that Evelyn had been found.
Did she seem
I don't know about y'all out there, but on the comedy side of this channel, I would have never guessed this man was a lawyer. Never in a lifetime. Bless his little heart.
distraught? Was she crying?
Obviously upset. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. This is a tragic situation any way you look at it. So, her reaction was somewhat to be expected.
Brad Sproles is the court-appointed attorney representing Megan Boswell, Evelyn's mom, for her charge of giving false reports. He said he was the one who told her investigators found remains.
Why is she smiling? Why is she smiling? Look, she keeps looking around and smiling at everybody. This is nothing to be smiling about. Megan, wake up.
Believed to be those of her 15-month-old daughter.
So were you the one that broke the news to her?
As far as I know, from what she had indicated to me, that no one had told her until I got there.
He says that even though his appointment to represent her ended when the case was bound over to grand jury, He expects to be reappointed at her next court date.
As a service to the court and to her, I went ahead and appeared last night at the press conference and went over and talked to her.
Sproul says he hopes people are cautious of placing judgment.
I agree with what the district attorney, General Staub, has said, that this is their very early stages, and for everyone to please be cautious about rushing to judgment here.
Megan remains in jail tonight on a $25,000 bond.
Okay, did you hear that? $25,000 bond. That's it. That was it. I don't like that.
She is due back in court May 8th.
No, he is not. Is he still her lawyer? Muffin wants to know, is he so? No. She has gotten a new lawyer.
Last week, her mother, Angela Boswell, bonded out of jail for a stolen property charge over a BMW that was connected to the case. Earlier this week, a judge told her that she needed to retain a lawyer by her next court date at the end of the month. She will also have to continue to wear an ankle monitor. Her boyfriend, William McLeod, was arrested with her in North Carolina last week. He appeared in court earlier this week on that stolen property charge. He bonded out of the Sullivan County Jail Thursday afternoon. Today, I went to the address listed on Angela Boswell's court documents in Kingsport. William McLeod answered the door. I asked him if he would speak with me on camera about the discovery of Evelyn. He said, quote, "I will be right back." Seconds later, he reopened the door and said, "Do you see that driveway?" Pointed to our car and said, "You need to get right back in your car and leave." News Channel 11 has also reached out to Tommy Boswell Sr., Evelyn's grandfather, and her father, Ethan Perry. Neither have returned our calls or requests for interviews.
That's lovely. Okay, so next, this one's going to be Court TV. This is Soul Uncle Vinny. He's going to talk about, he's going to have a couple people on panel, and they're going to talk about whether it was an accident. It's going to go over basic what they know about her death so far.
Just bring her back. I just want her back. That's all I want.
That fake cry.
I've been so long without her, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier?" Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back. That's all I can think about is how much I just want her back.
A lot of people are going to wonder whether or not those tears are genuine, because that's Megan Boswell, teen mom, accused of the murder of her daughter. Let me show you the picture. This is little baby Evelyn. Her mother's been charged with the murder. She went missing. Mom did not report her missing. Her grandfather had to make that report. She was then found on some family property, and now we're getting more details about the cause of death, and it's gruesome. Let me bring in Joseph Scott Morgan. He's in Jacksonville, Alabama tonight. He's professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, and the host of the incredibly popular Body Bags podcast.
I love Joe Scott Morgan. He is awesome. His podcast, Body Bags, is a wonderful podcast just to have in your ears. He has a very soothing voice.
Joseph, let me put up on the screen. Thanks for joining us again. Baby Evelyn's cause of death. And this is what we learned in court. Cause of death, asphyxia. Manner of death, homicide. Here are the details. Evelyn was found wrapped up in aluminum foil and a blanket inside of a trash bag that had been discarded in a trash can. The chief medical examiner says aluminum foil obstructed her airway and was found inside of Evelyn's mouth. We also know that she was upside down in that trash bag.
Okay, so that was a bit much. So real quick, we're going to run a content warning. All right. Yeah, that's a bit much. Found wrapped in aluminum foil and a blanket inside a trash bag, and then discarded inside of a trash can. Aluminum foil obstructed her airway. And was found inside of Evelyn's mouth. Muffin says, so she was alive when she was put in there? I'm not sure. We don't have those answers yet. I think there was also, they were talking about they co-slept. They slept in the same bed together, and that They would sleep on top of her. They would roll on her while they were sleeping. So I thought that was a little disturbing also. But let's hear what Uncle Vinny has to say here.
Here's what Megan Boswell told TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She allegedly told the agents that Evelyn's death was an accident. She claims that she and her boyfriend rolled over on Evelyn and smothered her while they were all sleeping in the same bed. Your thoughts about the details we're learning here. What does it tell you?
So is there half-truths in there?
Well, you've got an obstructed airway, which, is facilitated through this aluminum foil. I don't ever recall hearing of a case where aluminum foil was utilized. However, what does happen, and I think that many, certainly parents who have this terror, I know I had when my kids were little, the kids are going to stick something in their mouth that's going to obstruct their airway. Aluminum foil can be manipulated and rolled up into a tiny ball. If that's what you have at your disposal, you can take this, wrap it up or wad it up and stuff it into the mouth like this, and automatically you're obstructing the airway. There's another troubling piece to this, Ben, and another layer to this from an asphyxial standpoint. Remember what what is being said here is that she was found in this bag, wrapped in a blanket, and she is inverted upside down. And that can lead to further exacerbate the condition of asphyxia through a condition called positional asphyxia. I've worked cases where kids have fallen in between the wall and a crib before when a crib was not put together properly.
Positional asphyxiation, kind of like George Torres with our lovely Sarah Boone in a suitcase.
Properly. They inverted like that and they died as a result of positional asphyxia. The trick is this, to try to explain this to a jury, and the pathologist is going to have to stand and deliver relative to this, because there's some subtlety that's involved here. You're going to hear a lot about obstruction of the airway, how this is facilitated, and also, how long this would have taken, because it's not a quick death. It's not something where if your mind automatically goes, well, maybe it was a merciful death. Ben, I got to tell you, this would not have been. This would have been absolutely, positively horrific.
Little Evelyn.
That's so sad to hear. So sad to hear. It's disgusting.
Suffered.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, because as your body kind of phases through this oxygen deprivation, which is going on, your brain, even at this age, is screaming out, "I need oxygen." There's panic that's involved with this. You're struggling, just to have your chest rise and fall because it's insufficient oxygenation, and this primal response kicks in where you just want to survive. And she would have felt that would have been that would have been present in that. And I think that anybody that's if you get a pulmonologist on the stand to testify to this, they could certainly testify. And I can tell you the forensic pathologist that's going to get on the stand and talk about this, they're going to go into great detail about this. I hope the defense is prepared for this.
Justice Scott Morgan, appreciate your time, your insight, your expertise tonight. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome, Ben. Good to see you.
All right, let's bring back in the think tank Michael Sterling, Ann Bremner, Terrence Malloy with us. This is, I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen.
I know this says February 6, 2023, but it was changed, and it is going to be February 3rd, I believe, is when the trial starts, February 3rd, 2025. 3 charges: child abuse, abuse of a corpse, and I don't know what the other one was, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Here, and I'm reminded of that other case from Florida. There's so many parallels and similarities, and I think that.
And this is where they're going to go back and they're going to talk about Casey Anthony, because this is Casey Anthony 2.0. And I am sure a lot of you out there will remember Casey Anthony and Kaylee Anthony, the beautiful Kaylee Anthony.
Defense is going to go the same way.
No, Muffin wants to know, did they start jury selection already? No, it starts on February 3rd.
Right? They're going to say, oh, this was an accident. She panicked, didn't know what to do. May even blame it on the boyfriend for tossing her in the trash. And then she panicked and she lied about her being missing. Is that where you see this thing going, Ann?
Yeah, I do. And I don't, she'll remain nameless, right? The mother who was acquitted, as we all well know. And that could happen here. She could have exactly a defense like that. It's so horrific what happened to that little girl. And I'm a big fan of Joe Scott Morgan, and his description is such that it's almost like the jury's going to say, a mother could never do that to her child. Like Casey Anthony. A mother could never do that. Either she's mentally ill or she didn't do it. And so I think that's where she's going with it. And it sure worked for Casey Anthony and getting that acquittal when it was pretty clear she was guilty.
Terrence Malloy, it's the classic example, and I think this is where the defense is going to go, basically arguing that it was an accident, there was panic, so the accident now looks like murder.
I wish I could think of a defense that would work. To be honest with you, I'm having a struggle. I've been a prosecutor too, so I've been on both sides of the aisle. And to hear the mother's story of she was asleep and she smothered the child, I mean, how hard are you sleeping that you don't know that is struggling with asphyxia, as your the investigator just stated? That's going to be something that's going to take a while, and the child's going to be acting out. So you're going to have a baby that's crying. So I don't know. I like my colleague there just stated, bringing up the Florida case. That I like the way they want to go, but how do you explain aluminum foil in the throat? How do you explain that this would be a slow, painful type of, which is just you were just asleep? Unless you're the hardest sleeping, I'm having trouble with that.
Yeah. But Michael Sterling, and I'm reminded again, little Kaylee Marie Anthony down in Florida had duct tape over her mouth.
Right.
Jury didn't care. Jury didn't care. They thought it was a very reasonable explanation that she drowned in the pool. The baby drowns in the pool and then you cover the mouth with duct tape? What? Come on. So here, I mean, could they come up with some other story like that could actually work with a jury?
Well, baby, I never want to say jury didn't care. 12 people come together to try to figure out what happened in a particular case and try to hold the prosecution to their burden of proof and listen to all the evidence. But I mean, the question becomes here is that, as we all know, the prosecution has the burden to prove everything beyond a reasonable doubt. So the question becomes, can the prosecution prove that someone intentionally put foil in her mouth? Or was that something that a baby does, picks up a piece of foil, puts it in their own mouth? And
Right. He has a point here. Is a baby going to pick up a piece of foil, wad it up into a ball, and put it in her own mouth and choke to death? That's not even common sense.
the parents are not aware, right? And then that's exacerbated by the fact that, as the mother says, they sleep on the child. I don't know, Vinny, what the defense is going to do, but the question becomes, right, everything has to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. You've got to have all of these specific things happen beyond a reasonable doubt, every element of the crime. And so, it may not necessarily seem reasonable that, mother put a piece of foil in their child's mouth. I don't know. But that's something that the prosecution is going to have to deal with.
Yeah, and I look at duct tape over a child's mouth. I look at that as being worse than the foil, like in terms of what looks like murder. And both children, baby Evelyn and Kaylee Marie, were tossed away like garbage. Kaylee Marie around the corner from her house, tossed into the woods, and little Megan on the family's property, upside down in a trash bag.
I think Uncle Vinny just put that in a nutshell, didn't he? Even if Evelyn did do that, she didn't wrap herself up and put herself in her final place. Correct. She didn't put herself upside down in a trash can and then dug a little hole and hid the little trash can. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so this is where we find out she gets a new lawyer, because the new lawyer has decided that Megan Boswell deserves to wear street clothes even when she's just at her regular hearings. But this is where we find out she got a new lawyer.
A new motion has been filed in the murder case of a Sullivan County toddler. Megan Boswell's attorney wants her to be allowed to wear civilian clothes for future court proceedings. Boswell is accused of murdering her 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn Boswell, who was the center of an Amber Alert in February of 2020. The girl's body was found on a family member's property the following month. Now, this is the first motion that's been filed by Gene Scott. This is Megan Boswell's newly appointed attorney. He was just put on this case back in October after her first court-appointed attorney, Brad Sproles, withdrew from her case. This motion is asking for Boswell to be able to wear regular clothes for her court proceedings going forward, not just for that jury trial. Now, she and her attorney say that this is mainly because of the publicity and the media attention, saying, quote, there are television cameras at every one of the defendant's court appearances, and her court appearances are live streamed on the internet. They go on to argue that if she can't wear normal clothes, quote, thousands of people, some of whom may be potential jurors, will continue to see her dressed in her jail jumpsuit, and the danger of unfair negative inferences being made will be ever present, end quote.
Now, this motion cites several U.S. and Tennessee state court cases over the 14th Amendment and right to a fair trial. It pulls quotes from those proceedings about the clothing worn by the accused, and it also explains how it can impact a juror's judgment. This also acknowledges that these cases generally refer to the jury trial, but again, they argue that because of the amount of attention this case has gotten, Megan Boswell should be able to wear street clothes for all of her future proceedings. We did reach out to her attorney for comment on the filing, and he told us today that he isn't ready to make a statement on this motion just yet. Now, Boswell is scheduled to appear in court next Wednesday. That's December the 14th at 9 a.m. That's expected to be an announcement hearing, and it's unclear when this motion will be ruled on.
Bow, right bow.
Whoa. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, this is a video that I wanted to share. This is just a little excerpt out of Annie Elise. This is from 2 years ago. This was a little excerpt from the news WCYB. This is Megan giving a little interview.
I'll tell you about like her favorite things and personality wise. I know like looking on TV and just kind of seeing a picture, it's a lot harder to, envision a baby. Like her favorite food is like sweet potato. She's really sweet. She loves to give people kisses. Favorite song is Baby Shark. Just like that kind of stuff.
Can you tell me what's her favorite toy?
She has a little Baby Shark puppet.
What would you all do together?
Well, she loves to take baths. That was her favorite thing. She had little shark toys that swim in the bath and stuff like that.
How old is she now?
She's 15 months today, actually.
Can you tell me a little bit? Like, so you said she's very sweet. Is she sweet with everybody, or just
she is? She loves everybody.
Can you tell me a little bit about like how you're feeling? Do you miss her? Are you worried?
Of course I miss her, and like I can't tell anything about the ongoing investigation, but I'm sure you all released an article about the car and stuff like that, so they have a pretty good idea of who has her. I mean, if they're watching at this point, we can bring her back.
Is there anything you'd like to say to them if they're watching?
I just want her back. That's my child.
I'm sorry. I know this must be hard. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about her?
Fake.
Do you have any pictures of her? Have you been looking?
Not on me, no.
Not on you. Have you been looking at photos and stuff of her while you're? How are you?
Stop! That just freaked me out. Okay. In this interview, I didn't catch that earlier when I listened to this earlier. Not on me. How do you not have a picture of your child on you? It's in your phone. Your phone's in your pocket, I'm sure. Oh my gosh, how do you not have a picture of your child?
Are you coping with all of it?
I just want her back.
If you could tell her anything now, what would you say to her?
I love her and I miss her, and that I'll be with her as soon as I can get to her any way I can.
And I know all of this is very hard. Can you tell me like how you're feeling?
I just want her back. That's all I want.
Are you feeling worried or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that at all?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of.
Okay, see, this is where her lies start out. She's saying whoever had her, which nobody had her.
Vanished. So I'm just worried about, like where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
So you do know who has her? You do. Can you tell us who that is? Or you don't?
I can't release anything further about that. I'm sure they will at the press conference, but further than that, I can't say anything.
And so you do know who has her. Are you worried about her safety?
Well, now I am, because they won't answer phone calls. They've just kind of disappeared.
What is it like to? I'm assuming that you trusted this person. How has this trust been broken? What's been going on with that?
It has definitely been broken after this.
Have you spoken to her father at all during this process? Are you having any support from him or from your family?
Yeah, my grandma's very supportive. She always is.
That's good. But you haven't spoken to him at all.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you saw her?
In December.
And what was that last day like? Was it a good day? I think it was about around Christmas, right? Can you tell me about that?
It was a good day. She had a little pink bow in her hair and a little Puma tracksuit on. It was hot pink.
And I know that you're hoping.
I'm curious, when they found her, was she in a pink Puma tracksuit? My heart's breaking.
She'll be returning shortly. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the person or people that have her that you think they should hear from you?
They should just bring her back. they obviously know like what's going on and like, you know, they need to bring it back home.
Mm-hmm. And you said that you trusted this person. So when did you realize that trust might have been broken?
Well, when they just kind of took off and wouldn't answer anybody.
Around when was that?
Whenever this whole thing started.
Okay.
Megan goes on to describe that she actually knows the person that has Evelyn and that she trusted that person, leading all of us who were following this case to believe that it was the babysitter, which is, again, extremely similar to when Casey Anthony tried to pin the blame on Kaylee Anthony being taken by a babysitter. It's almost like Megan literally ripped a page out of the Casey Anthony handbook, which she shouldn't have done because she should know that Casey Anthony is literally the most hated woman in America and 99.9% of the population saying she's guilty and was wrongly exonerated. But I could go on forever with that, guys. I hate Casey Anthony with a passion, but we will say that for another video.
So I had to end with that. I love Annalise. I love it. So we're going to switch over here and let's see. Okay, so this was the tab I wanted to switch to. Not so much, not really.
Including first.
See if I can get it to
At midday, a delay in the trial of an East Tennessee woman accused in the death of her daughter. Jury selection was supposed to start today in the trial of Megan Boswell. She faces a list of charges, including first-degree murder in the death of Evelyn Boswell, who was 15 months old when she was last seen alive back in early December of 2019. The little girl's disappearance prompted an Amber Alert. Investigators found Evelyn's remains in March 2020. Prosecutors have said they plan to seek a life sentence without parole if Megan Boswell is convicted. We are working to learn the reason behind this delay, but we do know jury selection has been rescheduled for February 3rd. We, of course, will keep following this case.
So, jury selection, February 3rd. So that's going to be 2025. It's when the trial begins.
The Appalachian Mountain Bike.
And I don't know why that just popped up. So, she's going to be facing numerous charges. Charges include 2 counts of felony murder, 1 count of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and more. So that's the end of it. Yeah, you recognize it. Y'all having conversations over here. Yeah, we love Annalise in this house. And actually, It's a Muffin is the one that got me on Annalise. So, yeah, you recognize that voice. Love her. But anyways, so that is the end of tonight's stream. I just want to go over that. And I believe we have 1 week left. February 3rd, which I believe is next Monday. So, am I right on that? Was I right on that? February 3rd. February 3rd is Tuesday, correct? Yep. So here we go. And you'll be ready. I know that Allegedly Speculating is going to try to live stream the trial, and I hope to do a short nightly recap of the trial. So since she's going to stream it, I'm going to just take the little short way out, and I'll do recaps at night. So, but just to keep you updated. All right. Thank you for coming, and everybody hit the like and thumbs up and subscribe if you like the content. And on the replay crew, we appreciate you. Thank you, and y'all have a great night. Night, guys.
Life's a ride.